Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also podcast Vanderpump Rules, the new class edition, season 12, reunion 2. We are done. We are done. Meredith, how happy are you?
I am thrilled. I always am thrilled at the end of the season. I don't think people understand how, it is kind of exhausting to podcast about something and talk about it so much that even if I liked this show, I would still be happy that we're at the end.
The thing is, you can never rewatch these shows now because it's so ingrained in my head. I can't seriously sit down and rewatch and be like, oh my God, I forgot about that, because we talk about everything and we hit
such
on
detail.
Literally everything. Yeah. I'm happy it's done because I never want to do it to begin with.
Yeah, that's valid.
I never wanted to be here, but here we are. Before we finally put a bow on this season, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. All the links are in our description. And please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, let's get into this shocking finale. That's how they marketed it. That's how they did it. Shocking.
They're just doing them such a disservice. I really honestly put 70% blame of this season on the producers and Bravo.
Yeah, of course. But no one ever listens or asks our opinions. They should do more focus groups.
Who's in those focus groups? Because I bet they're doing them. But I'm like, who are you picking for them?
They're obviously not Bravo fans in this focus group. Because I would tell you exactly what needs to be done in this focus group. Bring back Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Anyway. Okay, so we open up. We were discussing why Audrey is so mad today. And she says because she was brutalized on social media. And Angelica's like, I was too. And they kind of go back and forth. And then we solve nothing. We move on to the next topic.
It's a scary social media world we're in where Angelica posting about something, like being mad at somebody who truly is in her life, leads people to go into Audrey's DMs and want her to off herself or die. It's get a grip.
I've never believed in online bullying. I'll bully you on my podcast, but I'll never online bully you because I have better things to do with my life. Who are these people that are like, oh, Angelica posted, now I have to go tell someone to murder, to kill themselves because Angelica's upset with them. Who are these people? I didn't even bully Tom Sandoval online.
Well, here's the thing. I will do and say a lot from our page and give my opinions out.
Sure.
But I would never go into someone's DMs and say something mean to them. Tag them in a mean comment with them. I really do avoid, even from our page, tagging people in the most negative stuff because that would be exhausting. No matter how bad people are, that would be exhausting to constantly see negative thoughts and feelings about yourself and be tagged in it all. So, let's get a grip. Whoever's doing this, get a fucking grip because both Angelica and Audrey and anybody on this cast don't deserve it. I know we got bullying claims. I will continue to give my opinions about people on a public platform, but I will not be in your DMs.
Well, we're not DMing these people and being
no.
Hey, you suck.
Yeah.
You should die. That's not our vibe.
It always makes me think about, in a general sense of celebrity, what your responsibility is on posting your truth and your thoughts about things. Because Angelica does have a right to kind of share her frustrations with people. But when that leads people then to do more.
I've always said, unfortunately, when people speak on your behalf, you have to say something.
Yeah.
I think we had this discussion with the Love Island. Was that it?
Yeah, about Huda.
Huda might not be saying these comments, but her fans are. And Huda is not saying anything to tell her fans to back off. Mm-hmm. And in that, I think that's wrong. I don't think Angelica had any ill will and was like, everyone go attack Audrey. But I think if people who support you are doing this on your behalf, you have to say, that's not what I wanted. Yes. That's where I think the
That's a good
the
point.
responsibility
I don't think this has
comes
gotten
in.
to this level,
No,
the
no.
Huda level. So it is interesting. I wonder if Audrey and Angelica had a conversation. Because if people weren't saying it in Angelica's honor too, you don't know 100% that they're tied. Obviously,
100%.
There's could be a correlation, but
100%. But overall, I think that's where the public responsibility comes in for
very good
celebrities.
Point. Yeah.
Okay, so at Tom Tom, Angelica had her whole penis pump day at that photo shoot. Was she trying to embarrass Jason when she told Lisa?
Yes.
Well, Angelica says it was not her intention to embarrass Jason. And Andy's like, so what was the intention? And Jason's like, to inform Lisa how to use a penis pump, which really did make me laugh. That was funny.
Me too. Jason is honestly handling this reunion and what was said about him very well. But I love that he always ties it back to, it's not embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for you, honey.
100%. So then Chris explains what a penis pump is for Lisa, which for those who don't know, it's basically so that their penises look bigger in their OnlyFans content.
If they knew OG Vanderpump, they could be like, hey, remember when you gave Jax Taylor a ball of socks to pump up, the down there
With
region?
With a penis pump, you wouldn't need that.
We can do that naturally. Like, that is your real dick. It's not stuffed.
Lisa, though, she's going to have a heart attack talking about this penis pump. She's clutching the fuck out of her pearls.
Between that and then later the incest video,
God, she is like,
girly, you want to know details that you don't want to know. Like,
don't be at these reunions.
Stop asking the questions. Like, I do want to know these, but it is weird to hear you asking the questions I want to know the answers to.
There were so many moments I was like, someone get Lisa off this stage. Someone send her home. Like, it gets weird.
I would almost rather watch this like with my grandma than to have Lisa asking these questions.
Agreed. Okay, Jason also has a rubber ass known as a RAS, which I didn't know about that, but a fan sent it to him. And then I'm assuming it's her ass.
I think that's a large assumption, but we never really got to what this is used. Why do you have this? What is it used for? I know a fan sent it, but like, what's the point?
I have a feeling it's the fan's ass.
I'm very green in this stuff, so I'm confused.
I don't know about a RAS, but I'm assuming. I'm fascinated now.
Like, is it so he can fuck the ass? The RAS?
Oh, I didn't think of that. I just thought
I'm just wondering, what application are we, like, needing this for? Like, why are we keeping it? I know fans send weird things, but...
Yeah, I thought it was more like a fan sent it, and they were like, it's a nice ass, we'll keep it. You know?
I don't know why, but in my mind,
ass or something?
This is life size.
I don't know what this is. We didn't get detail. When I finally want detail about things, we don't get into any detail.
That's the thing. Lisa's questions aren't doing it for me.
So Angelica has actually done commercials for erectile dysfunction medicine. She stands with the erectile dysfunction community, but she just thought penis pump was a really funny thing to say. And Andy's like, dude, you're definitely judging about this penis pump. And Audrey, we know, told Angelica initially about the penis pump because Angelica's like, well, it was Audrey. The group was very divided on if Audrey and Angelica did the same thing when talking about the penis pump.
They didn't. We discussed this when that episode happened. Like, I don't feel like Audrey took enough accountability of starting the gossip train of this. Like, girl, you got that ball rolling, and Angelica really revved it up, but you did do a little bit. Angelica went in with full shame, but Audrey, you did gossip about this.
I think I had disagreed because Audrey did go to Shayne and Chris and say, I was the one that said it initially.
Yes.
So she owned up that she was doing this. When it comes to Angelica, I do think Audrey was just gossiping, haha, funny girl shit. It is then on you that Angelica spreads this rumor. Now, how Angelica was doing it is very different than the way Audrey was doing it. Audrey didn't have malice, I think. I think she was like, I'm just here to giggle. Like, it was something funny that I don't see every day. And, like, it surprised me. You know?
I agree.
I think Angelica was like, oh my God, I'm going to get everyone to hate Jason just like I do.
The impact of, like, what they wanted is vastly different. Audrey definitely wanted just to kiki about something lighthearted, making fun of someone, like, can't believe this happened. We all do it with our friends and people we know. Yeah. Angelica, wanted to ruin the reputation, both in the group and to the public with the show about these two men.
And unseen footage, Audrey did talk to Angelica at Tom Tom and said she didn't appreciate Angelica repeating it the whole time. Angelica basically said she didn't care, which that was rude, no?
Why didn't we have this included? I felt like this discussion was way more insightful than the one we ended up getting, where I think that was after Shayne's movie night premiere. and the girls sat down. I felt like this one made more sense because I did find it weird that Audrey didn't say anything in the moment and like held on to it. So to find out that they were having these conversations
changes
multiple
a little
times,
bit of our thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, here we go. Angelica does apologize for embarrassing Jason because now enough people have piled on her that now she's like, I can't keep this man-hating energy. I gotta go back. And this is when Jason says it's more embarrassing for Angelica. And then Angelica also apologizes to Audrey. Great. So let's get into Shayne. He was everyone's favorite wild card this season. So Marcus and Shayne met when they were signed to the same modeling agency like a decade ago. They lived with each other during the pandemic. And we find out Marcus is not a great person to want to live with because he has a mattress on the ground and uses a drum set as a table and has cigarettes in his bathroom. And I can see why Kim doesn't want to live with him now.
The worst part is the cigarettes in the bathroom, but all of it is bad. I'm like, it just like kept leveling up.
The drum set is a table. I was like, because I've heard and unfortunately witnessed men have mattresses on the ground. That I'm ready for. A drum set is a table.
I'm confused by that one.
Just eat on your couch. What are we doing with a drum set?
No, I think it's like a side table, like his nightstand or like next to the couch, and so he's just putting stuff on it. So that one doesn't feel as weird to me because that just seems like you don't respect your instrument, which like whatever.
I was picturing like his chicken.
No.
This is
I think
same...
it's like I need somewhere to put my drink, so like it's out of convenience because it's right there. Like, to be honest, I could catch myself doing that every once in a while.
Oh my god, I totally thought different. This is up there when Ariana said Sandoval put plates on her car, and I was like, that's a really weird prank. Damn it. Yeah,
no
okay,
worries.
That's the least weird one. I was straight up like, how is he cutting stuff on his drums? Like his steak? That's crazy.
He like pulls up to a chair and he's like, dinner time.
I was like, just sit on your couch like a normal person and use your lap.
No, I think it's like, okay, where do I put this? My drum's right there.
Got it. Where do I put my ashtray with my cigs?
Yep. Oh, no, that goes in the bathroom, Alicia. Come on.
Got it. Sorry. Everything has its place. My bad.
Correct. Yeah, he has things in order. It's just not the order we would want.
So Marcus tells us that, remember when he was gonna like leave LA and Shayne was like, no, so we could be on a billboard together or whatever. Marcus tells us that when he was gonna leave, he was gonna go be a lawyer. His sister is a doctor, and he says he's much smarter than his sister, which, what a crazy stray for your sister to take.
What?
Also, lawyer versus doctor. I'm going to go with a doctor. I think doctors are smarter. I'm sorry to any lawyers, and I'm not saying that, but doctors quite literally are responsible for life and death situations. Lawyers, less so, but you should also be smart to be a lawyer. But you don't have to stray your sister.
They have different skills, for sure.
Definitely different.
My guy, Marcus, I'm so sorry. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. I don't think you are smarter than your doctor sister, because what? Like, you're actively making the worst decisions I've ever seen on this cast.
Well, he didn't say he was going to be a good lawyer.
That's true. You're not wrong. Here's the thing about being a lawyer. You just have to actually really enjoy reading and be able to like make an argument. And somehow he is always able to get Kim to come back to him.
And you know, we don't know a lot about him, but he might really be into reading. They didn't say where his books went in his apartment. We have no idea.
That's true. That might be the most adult thing. If he has a bookshelf, you know what, Marcus? You can go be a lawyer. And I think he's from Indiana, so like that can also happen.
Incredible. But now Marcus and Shayne do have a billboard together, and it's the Vanderpump Rules promo, so their dreams came true.
Look at where we came.
Okay, let's talk about Shayne's addiction and family issues, which may I say before we get into it, because I don't want this to overtake everything, but Lisa during this segment was so weird. And I get she's trying to be like, these are all my children, but I was like, girl.
Okay, I think she is trying to have the relationship that she had with the OG cast, but we built into that slowly. They had a few years of working there and then, you know, being on the show. She wasn't like this mother hen season 1, and I feel like she's really trying to force that, and it's even weirder for it to be Shayne because he doesn't work for her.
Yep. Okay, great. So, why did Shayne get sober? Well, it was either get sober or die, he tells Andy.
I mean, like, what did they expect from that question?
Yeah, I decided because I wanted to, like, pursue acting. No, it was most of the time when you get sober, your life is, like, on the line.
On the line. It's either, like, jail, death, continue on. Especially someone like Shayne, who has been very open about the years of abuse and the vast amount of things he was addicted to or, like, abused. Yeah. This wasn't like over on Southern Charm Craig's Adderall, like, addiction. Like, oh, what got you sober? It's like his life. He wanted to live.
Yeah, that's like the only answer. Even like when you ask Lala and James when they got sober, it was literally like, we're gonna go down a terrible road and die or be in jail or get sober. And they both have like said similar things. And Shayne, I would argue, had an even more unhealthy relationship with substances than those two did. And it was either get sober or die.
They act like this is the first person that they've met who's sober. Like, it's before we ever talked about it or, like, we're really open about it. Like, we need to do better about asking questions to people.
Yeah. We've seen the journey of someone drunk to sober, okay? Yeah. We know, we get it. Okay, so at 15, Shayne was out of school, selling dope with his mom, smoking crack, breaking into houses. He even lost his virginity at 12. So he was living very fast with broken people. And Shayne just always wanted to be loved and cared about. Lisa is like, do you think your parents loved you? And he's like, yeah, I think to the best of their ability, because when you're struggling with addiction, it's harder to be able to, you know, give people the love they need. And Shayne just gets really emotional when he talks. And this is when Lisa gets up to hold his hands and tell him how amazing he is.
Also, the angle of this whole scene was super weird. I don't know if you noticed that, like, we got, like, half of Shayne's face while looking at Andy and Lisa, and I was like, guys, can we, like, scoot the camera out a bit? Like, why is Shayne in the shot of Andy and Lisa, like, reacting to him? Mm-hmm. Like, I felt like the camera was in his lap. Like,
no, I agree. Especially when he was trying not to cry and he kind of turned his head towards the camera. And we just get a full, like, face. But it was so close and it was so dark because the lighting wasn't there that it just looked like a shadow of a giant face covering 75% of the screen.
They've done him such a disservice in this scene for a lot of reasons. It was so distracting.
Yeah. Yeah. And Lisa, like, making it... I would have loved if we could have sat with Shayne in his, like, feels and let Shayne, like, process it. But Lisa getting up and being like, what does she say? Oh, she goes, if you were my son, I'd be very proud of you. Which is even more hilarious to me, which this wasn't a funny moment, but we all know that Lisa doesn't really like Max that much. That's a bit we do. Of course she loves Max, but Pandora's her favorite. Yeah, and now the third to Shayne.
I was about to say, like...
Shayne beat out Max.
I think it's challenging because, again, this goes back to, like, the Lisa needing to be the mother hen of, Lisa, you, like, really don't know this man, and I do find it weird when people try to center themselves in other people's trauma. Like, I understand wanting to show love, like, rubbing someone on their back. Like, that's for the person next to them to do. Like, Marcus was, you know, like, giving him, like, a shoulder kind of, like... grip, but it's weird to be like, do you think your parents, like, love you? Or, like, do you know that your parents love you? And then to be like, I would be so proud of you, because it's like, it's not about that.
It's not about his parents. Like, what?
Like, it is and it isn't. Like, his traumatic experience and upbringing and, like, what he had to deal with obviously is tied to his parents, but it's, like, more about him and his journey on that and, like, how much of an accelerated life he lived. Mm-hmm. And then to bring in... what I have to assume, because, like, I've also dealt with difficulty with, like, my family upbringing and my parents, is other people bringing up, do your parents love you, and, like, that type of stuff is really complex. Like, of course, like, parents have this innate love, but, like, how you show it and did they show up for you, like, isn't tied to their love. It's tied to their actions. And so, like, that's really hard for some people to understand who don't go through it, is... it doesn't really matter if my parents love me or not. When they put me in dangerous situations, and I'm still trying to maintain a relationship with them.
I think Shayne's story is very layered, and I find it fascinating. And
me too.
I think Shayne deserves the camera time for this because I think it could help a lot of other people. Or like, I just think it's a story that deserves to be told because he really has like brought himself up from his bootstraps.
Oh my God, so amazing.
But the way it was edited and like handled here was like so unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm like excited for him to dive more into his therapy journey, like, in that next season. And I agree. Yes, he obviously got sober because of his life, but what did that look like? And like, what were those first steps, and who was integral into that? And when did he choose to start going to therapy? Was it like immediate, or like, was that a later journey? Like, what type of therapies has he done? Like, what are those conversations he has with his parents and boundaries and things like that? Like, a lot of people have what they call like little T trauma. And, like, there are a lot of people with big T trauma. And so diving into how he navigated his large traumas and addictions and therapy, I think is fascinating. Because we don't see as many people who have gone through so much therapy, not on camera, especially. Because I think, like, therapy is becoming a big thing on reality TV to, like, do these scenes. But, like, they're not as real because you're not going to be as vulnerable as you really need to be.
Also, as someone who doesn't struggle with addiction, I find it really interesting when Shayne talks about how he's like 12 years sober from alcohol, 10 years from like fentanyl and like all these other drugs, and then he's only 2.5 years sober from like weed and ketamine, and he lists all these other drugs. So I also am interested to see like what his thought process was, like cutting out a bunch of drugs and then 10 years later being like, I have to continue to like, what was the tipping point of him being like, actually I need to be fully sober.
Yeah, because we see that a lot with, like, being California sober, as they call it. Like, some alcoholics will still dabble in weed, and, like, that may work for some, but not others, and, like, what that journey, was.
It was interesting with, like, Lala and James seeing it, where Lala went fully sober, James went California sober, and they both were on the journey together, and seeing, like, what worked for them. I found an interesting story. And like, something I love about reality TV is like, I am seeing situations that I don't see in my normal life. I don't have to deal with, but I'm able to like watch people and be like, wow, this is a real thing, and like learn about it in this way. So,
and I think that would prepare you and, you know, the audience, that if you haven't interacted with people like this, like that if you ever do come in contact with someone, you tend to have more empathy because you've seen somebody walk the path, even if it hasn't been directly in your life.
You're right. Noted. Next time someone tells me about their struggles with addiction, I won't ask, did your parents love you? Noted.
I highly recommend not doing that.
Mental note. Okay. So Shayne talks about how he took control, he worked on himself. He's gotten really great responses from the audience. He just likes being something to someone else, like maybe helping other people through their journeys, which I think that's a lot of it. It's either people who haven't been exposed to it become exposed and learn something, so then if and when they deal with it in the future, they have kind of a background. Or it's people who are going through it and they see other people going through the same thing and like can see a path to, I don't know, like there's a little hope, a little path.
Especially because he's in long-term recovery. Like, yes, he had some relapses in there, but he has been sober from some substances for 10 plus years. Like, that is amazing to see.
Okay, let's talk about Kim's special hug.
Oh, God.
So Kim gave a really special hug to Chris and Jason.
Otherwise known as a normal hug.
A normal hug. So, and Marcus got really mad. Demi says a special hug is when you give a hug with two hands.
I guess.
Can you believe? And Marcus says it was just a normal hug. He just got jealous. So then we hop on over to Shayne.
Wait, hold up. Because we did not dive into, and by we, not us, but they didn't dive into, why is a hug so triggering to you, Marcus? Like, get a fucking grip. I needed, like, a little bit more shame coming towards Marcus, for this was ridiculous.
I fully agree. Because what was the point?
Like, why are we talking about a hug?
This hug?
Yes. It wasn't like he was just, like, upset and in a mood. This was a big moment of the season.
Something's triggering. And yeah, we should question it. We should be like, hey, you know how Shayne just divulged into his past? Lisa should look at Marcus and be like, did your parents hug you enough? Huh?
Like, what if he would have been like, no, it actually is a big thing for me.
I know, it would have been bad for Lisa.
That would have been amazing, though. I would have been like, this makes sense.
Well, he'd be like, and now I can never hug them because they're dead. And then Lisa would have been like, I know. That's probably why she didn't ask, because
I
they
didn't
both
even
died.
think about it.
They both died.
I kind of forgot there for a minute. Oh my God.
I know. But if you're going to ask Shayne, you got to ask Marcus the same question.
That's the thing. Why do you dabble into one trauma and not the other? Just because your parents are dead doesn't mean that, like, your trauma, like, is greater than, like, having to deal with your parents in their drug addiction and, like, selling drugs when you're, like, 15.
I
like,
love
why
that.
is that okay to ask about?
We didn't pit them against each other. We're, like, now pitting whose trauma is bigger than the other.
No, but I would be pissed. Like, why are my parents on, like, fair game?
Yeah.
Why is my traumatic experience
just because his parents died? Ask him about his parents hugging him.
It has to be because I'm so good looking, and you know that my lore and, like, crazy life brought the audience in, is what I would feel like for Shayne. Like, mine was entertaining,
Shayne
baby.
should get paid more. He should get paid more.
I would say the breakout star of the show.
I think the one with the most depth, the most story that we wrote a whole story for him.
About this. Yeah.
And I'm willing to meet with him and make it a 3-part movie premiere. 6 hours, baby.
A saga, damn. Let's just make this into a TV show. Like, I don't know if I can do, like, 3 different
9
filmings.
seasons at this point. Where do we start? Anyway.
That's true. Like, that's the reason I actually need him to walk through his entire life, because I need more content.
Here's the thing, though. We wanted ours to be satire, so that's why we went with this shooting that was not explained, which we've never hit on, so we still don't know the full story. But the story that we've put together is satire. Now, do we want to make it serious and sad by adding in?
No.
Or
it has to be Lifetime-y. It cannot be like a documentary, like docu-series.
Maybe Shayne's down with the satire. A lot of people deal with trauma by laughing at it.
I think Shayne needs to pursue his real life
story. I agree.
We can pursue the satire version.
Well, once his is released, we can do what Scary Movie did.
Ooh,
with
great
Scream
idea.
And just, like, ask Shayne if we can satire it up.
Yeah.
Make it funny. That's our move. Okay. So let's get into Shayne and Angelica making out right after Jason. So Shayne had asked Jason about getting with Angelica beforehand. So that's why Jason wasn't that mad at Shayne about the whole thing.
I mean, that makes sense. It's a speak now or forever hold your peace. Like, I asked. I think it is still weird and very quick, but he was up front.
Yeah, it was minutes after Jason and Angelica had ended things. But Shayne says Angelica moves fast. So he had to hop on that, and Lisa's like, you move quicker. Both of them are getting, oh my God.
I'm like, no, that makes valid sense. Like, if he didn't hop on that night, Angelica would have been in a relationship tomorrow.
Yeah, he's right. Jason thinks it was quick, but he's happy Shayne did it because it showed him Angelica's true colors. Because then there was this whole thing about how Jason wouldn't kiss Angelica like weeks before their taekwondo or whatever, jiu-jitsu date. And he was like, yeah, because I didn't want to move that fast. And then she swerved his kiss at jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason just wanted to move slower. I don't know. They bounced around a lot. These people love to argue.
Yeah, and, like, I didn't really get this point in, like, why that clip was shown about Jason saying, like, oh, I don't want to kiss you right now.
I was in
like,
front of everyone.
What is going on here? And, like, what point are we trying to make?
I don't know.
Clearly, you're on 2 different timelines. Like, the more and more we talk about Jason and Angelica, the more I'm like, you guys are so polar opposites, and not in the, like, opposites attract way.
No.
Like, you guys could never work. I can't believe we even spent any time this summer with you two trying to pursue something.
They're not even reading the same book.
No,
Like,
they're not on the same planet.
No.
They are nowhere near each other.
No. So then let's talk about Angelica getting jealous about Shayne and Audrey kissing in that music video they did where Audrey's wet the whole day.
Forgot about
Which
that.
was so funny. Angelica says her and Audrey weren't in the best place, and she didn't have any warning before that conversation that Audrey and Shayne kissed. And Audrey's like, look, it was a professional thing. Chris was there the whole time. And also, I didn't know I was kissing Shayne until I was sopping wet on the beach. She didn't say sopping wet. I just put that in there.
You have to make sure that we know.
It has to be a miserable experience. If someone tells me to kiss so I can go get dry sooner, I'm gonna kiss.
That's a really good point. Angelica does say, like, she does realize, I think, in this conversation, it really is more on Shayne to tell her. That's the one she's pursuing things with. Her and Audrey were not on good terms, as she said. I understand Angelica being caught off guard at the lunch. I find it weird that people found that weird. I understand when people have a reaction. You hear something, you're caught off guard. Yeah. Your emotions, your thoughts are just like instantaneous of like what's happening for some people. I do think it still is on Shayne for, like, that conversation. It doesn't matter that you did or didn't know beforehand. The minute it does happen is like, hey, this is what happened, wanting to let you know, so then you aren't caught off guard.
That whole thing. But it was fine. We move on. We move on to the next topic already.
This was dumb. Like, I don't know why we're, like, hitting on things that really didn't matter this season.
Remember when they all kissed on vacation? They were all making out with each other?
Yeah, this was my favorite episode.
And then remember how I was shipping Marcus and Venus together?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, so Venus says Natalie was the worst kisser because she put her little strawberry tongue in his mouth. But Venus says Jason was the best kisser. And Jason went back for seconds. And Marcus is so upset about this.
Oh my God.
He's so jealous. He's like, am I at least top 2? And Venus tells him 3.
Which was so funny. Okay, this reunion is making me like Jason a lot more.
Same.
He has like such a like vibrant energy. He was like, yeah, I was down. I was going to give it my all. Like, he just brings something that we didn't see during the season.
Yeah, he's way more likable at this reunion. And he made a joke, too, where he's like, imagine if I had given tongue. And I was like, there's something really hot about, like, a non-toxic toxic masculinity is so terrible to me. Mm-hmm. So, like, when a man is the opposite of that, I find it really hot. Where, like, he's like, yeah, I'll kiss men, and I'll kiss men more than once, and then I'll throw in tongue next time, and, like, making jokes about it. I find that very fun. Like, he was very likable in it.
Yeah, like, he doesn't have any walls or stigmas, really, that he's, like, worried about. He's gonna do whatever he wants to do, have fun with it, and it doesn't mean, like, he's gay or that he's into Venus. Like, he was just in it to have fun with his friends, and I love that energy. And I want more of that in general from this cast, because it doesn't feel like they were having that much fun while filming this. It felt like they knew that they were trying to produce something, and I think that's what got in their way. But I tend to think that happens a lot with season ones, is you're trying to get your, like, feet underneath you and learn how a production of a show works, so then you can come up, like, authentically and tell a good story and have fun the next few seasons.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely more produced, but Jason is fun. There's something fun about Jason that, like, I would love to see in real life.
It's a diamond in the rough there for sure. Like, we need to polish it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he got better. Once him and Angelica was over, I did find Jason better.
That's true. That's true. Him and Natalie were a good time.
They were fun. Well, oh my God. Segment queen. Let's get right into Jason and Natalie and their friendship. And Jason just loves Natalie's pheromones, which Natalie's honored to hear. And then Andy's like, hey, did that threesome with Natalie, Jason, and that girl from the beach ever happen? And Natalie's like, no, I've never had a threesome before. And then Jason's like, too bad, I'm really good at threesomes. That was so funny. And then Andy's like, I'm assuming everyone here has had a threesome, which is not correct.
That is actually a wild assumption. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, why are we assuming this?
What about this group? Is it that they're in LA? Is that they're like kind of like more Gen Z? Like what is it that it's like obvious? Because I'm not seeing it.
The only two I'd be like, duh, Chris and Jason have had threesomes. Like, duh, those two.
And Shayne for sure.
Oh, yeah. But like mostly I would be like, Chris and Jason probably did it on their OnlyFans.
That's a rightful assumption.
Yeah, Shayne hooks up with all these girls probably. The rest, I was like, how are you assuming? So everyone who raises their hand for a threesome is Jason, Chris, Shayne, Venus, and Audrey.
I like it. This makes sense. If I had to bet on a group, this would probably be the most likely, but I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, you guys all definitely have, even within that group.
Let's spice it up more. Shayne's threesome was not 2 girls.
I love that.
I love that.
The more I learn about Shayne, the more I love him.
Put that in our movie. He says
whatever it is.
Put that in our movie.
He is similar to like what we just said about Jason. Like, Shayne will just say it. Like, he doesn't really care what people think about him. Like, I think he wants to leave like a good impression on people. Yeah. But if he did it and he owns it and he's good with it, like, he's like, yeah, I had a threesome with a guy and a girl. Like, yeah, that's what happened.
Natalie has that same thing to them too. Like,
that's a good point.
Those 3, there's something very likable about those 3 because they just kind of say it.
Self-assured, which I really like.
Yeah, and they don't get embarrassed. They're like, this is who we are.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Take it or leave it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. However, Shayne does tell this wild story about how one time he was watching The Bachelorette with 2 girls, and he was trying to be celibate for like a whole year, and he was 3 months in, and these 2 girls were trying to like have sex with him, and then he couldn't get out of it, so he just yelled, "I love you," and then ran to his car. But he made it 15 months celibate. And Lisa is like, why would you do something like that? And I was like, oh my God, Lisa, because he's an addict.
We heard him talk in the show about like not using women to like basically as another drug.
Yes. Also, girl, if he just wants to be celibate, let him be celibate.
Yeah, like, what if it was just to, like, challenge how, like, long he could go? Like, that's worth it enough. No matter the reason is, he's telling you he wanted to do this. Why are we shaming him?
She's like, why would you want to not have a threesome with 2 willing girls, you naughty boy?
It's wild coming from Lisa, who always, didn't she always joke about how, like, Ken always only gets sex twice a year or something? Like, on his birthday and, like, their anniversary or something? Like, who are you to talk about people not having sex?
Well, she loves boys will be boys.
True.
Boys are just being boys.
This episode was very much giving, like, oh, Lisa's getting her boys back. She's got her boys.
She misses the men. She gives Patricia from Southern Charm as well, where they're always like, boys will just be boys. Doesn't matter about the girls.
But it's worse because Lisa is their boss.
Yeah.
Both
for sure.
At SUR and on this show. Like, Patricia is just like a side character.
That's true.
And it's like, fine, you're playing favorites, whatever. Like, you don't have that much of an impact on these people's lives.
Agreed.
Lisa does.
Yeah, it's just weird, these older women who are like...
obsessed with young men.
Just let the boys do their thing, yeah.
Because, like, if a man was in these roles, we would all think this is weird.
Ooh, imagine a man being like, oh, girls... oh, young girls, just run around and play.
Or, like, going up to Shayne, and if it was a girl being like, do your parents love you? Or, like, just know I'm so proud of you. It's weird.
It is weird. Okay, let's talk about ethical non-monogamy. So, Shayne says he leads with this because it gives women the choice of whether or not they want to entertain him. He says, I'm not going to commit to you. I'm going to hook up with other girls.
I respect it.
I do too. And then Andy's like, oh, do you tell the girls about the other girls you're hooking up with? And he's like, it's all dependent on the girls' boundaries that we set, which this is very healthy. I hate how healthy it is. It's so healthy.
I think he doesn't like disappointing people or like not meeting expectations, but he deep down knows that he can't meet those or doesn't want to or doesn't want that emotional intimacy that comes with a relationship. And so he doesn't want to hurt people, but he doesn't want what other people want. So it's like, if I just say it out loud, like, it's not a problem. And I like that. I think we would all be way better off in dating if we were truly honest with each other. And it's like a take it or leave it situation.
Agreed. So he's only been with 6 women in the past year. And 2 of them are in this group right now, Angelica and Natalie. Because him and Angelica hooked up after Pride, and then he didn't hook her up or hit her up for a week, and she already had a boyfriend, which was LAX guy.
I mean, of course she did.
My God,
so fast, and like, kind of credit to her, but also I'm kind of I'm nervous for her because she can't be alone. I mean, she is a hot commodity, so like, scoop her up or don't.
Yep. So then we talk about LAX guy. Angelica admits she should have probably taken more time to herself, but she just can't be single. And Natalie's like, that's crazy. I love being single. So then we talk about how Shayne and Natalie are super close best friends, and Natalie doesn't really know what's going on with them right now, and they're not hooking up anymore because Shayne was scared that he'd run from Natalie, and he loves their friendship so much, so he said no hooking up. And Natalie's like, yeah, however, we still talk for hours, and sometimes we sleep in the same bed. And Andy's like, could this be the basics for something more? And Natalie's like, that's what I'm saying, but Shayne is so scared to get vulnerable with someone, so we have to stay best friends. But like, there's more there. And then Shayne says that Natalie is one of his best friends, and he also thinks she's hot. He just can't do relationships, but he also sleeps better when he's next to Natalie. And Lisa's like, I just think that Shayne's been let down so many times in his life that he can't risk his sobriety, and he just doesn't want to let Natalie down by not meeting her expectations. And I'm like, yeah, girl, way to Lisa, read the room. We got it.
Like,
but still,
we all knew that.
But here's the thing. I mean, as healthy as Shayne is, he is still kind of using Natalie for her emotional support. At what point does it become like Natalie has to move on. Yeah. So
I know. I'm also very selfishly curious what the time frame of this whole Natalie Shayne thing is. Like, clearly wasn't happening when filming was going on. So we're talking about like the last like 8-ish months. I want to know, how long were they sleeping together? When did Shayne put the boundary up? How long have they been best friends? How often do they sleep in the same bed? Like, how do these things happen? Like, I want to know so much more about this dynamic.
Dude, if I was Natalie's friend and she was telling me all this, I'd be like, he better either propose or get the fuck out of your bed, because you should have another man who's gonna, like, great for Shayne, but also, like I said, he's just leeching off of her for all the emotional intimacy, and then he gets his physical intimacy elsewhere. You're basically in a relationship with her.
With no sex.
Yeah. Because even as best friends, he can disappoint her.
Yeah.
The second he leaves.
This is disappointing. Like, she clearly wants more, and she's disappointed. I think the difficulty for Shayne is that I understand, and I totally see his, like, stress about being in a relationship. But like you said, Will still disappoint her. Like, you can't set this situation up where you get all these benefits, and she's hoping that that will be enough for you to decide to take the leap. Like, I fear for what this is happening, and that it is really unfair for Natalie, but at the same time, Natalie has to set those boundaries to protect herself too.
Like, I think in Shayne's mind, if he leaves, it's not as big a deal because they're not they're not actually together.
He's being upfront. He's being honest. Like, it's the ethical part of ethical non-monogamy.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like, the friendship is so deep. If he leaves, it's still going to hurt. It's probably going to hurt more when he brings a girl around to the next comedy show or roast. And then, like, Natalie sits there alone and is like, she's hurt.
I agree, because I also think him bringing all those girls on this season was a big bit. Like, I bet it was kind of like a thing, like, production wanted him to do, is you're the guy who has the rotating
he's the heartbreaker,
door. Yeah, so then even if he does that as a bit next season, although it's for production reasons potentially, or even if it is real, it's still hard to watch somebody do that, whether, like, Shayne wants to do it or not. Like, Natalie has to watch that parade in front of her. She wants the relationship. They have all the makings of a relationship, but we're just waiting on Shayne to take that leap. That's a recipe for disaster.
This is the next thing we should work on in therapy, Shayne. This is what we discuss now.
And if not, if you don't want to work through that, because I have my own, like, relationship issues, and I always say, like, I'm probably not going to change, but that's for me to then navigate relationships with that in mind.
Well, that's the thing, is, like, if he doesn't want a relative, he needs
you gotta cut Natalie loose.
Yeah, you gotta cut her.
You can't be her best friend.
No. No, not even in any world. No. So, Shayne, one person he did break things off with was Angelica, when he locked his door so she couldn't get in. He just knew that night that if he had sex with Angelica, it would have been bad for them. It would have been bad for both of them. And Angelica says her and LAX guy have been together now for 7 months, and she just wants to get married and have kids. And Shayne's like, but listen, you got some serious struggles in your relationship, because when you fight with him, you reach out to me. And I guess her and LAX guy have broken up a couple of times, but they're still talking about getting engaged.
That's wild, because she even posted on her story, I swear she posted this, something about him, like, being, like, the love of her life, or, like, this is what, like, a solid, like, connection is, while the show was filming, that I was like, oh, okay, she's clearly moved on, whatever. To find out that it's, like, super toxic is crazy.
So Demi might be one of my favorite B characters. I think we need Demi.
Agreed.
She's met LAX guy, and she doesn't like him, because when Demi showed up to meet him, they were fighting, and Angelica was crying, and apparently it was over, like, LAX guy seeing the video of Angelica and Shayne's awkward fish kiss that they had on their date. But Demi doesn't care what it was about, because she took that friends and family discount off his bill. Which was so badass. That was so funny.
I appreciate that Demi has an opinion and she stands on it. Like, she's gonna say what she thinks and how she feels, and she's not gonna falter or, like, package it up so you feel better about it. She's, like, so willing to look at Angelica right now and be like, I don't like your boyfriend. I can't believe he was upset about that kiss. It wasn't that big of a deal. I took him off the bill. Like, he's not one of our friends. He's not one of our family. He doesn't get the 30% discount. Goodbye.
And he was a bad tipper. So how about that?
My God.
So then Marcus kind of defends LAX guy because Marcus and Kim are kind of looking in a mirror over here. Kim, though, says LAX guy is very charming, but he doesn't treat Angelica well, and he makes Angelica small and doesn't want her to shine. And Angelica says her relationship reminds her a lot of Marcus and Kim, and which girl, if that is your thought.
Why are we still in your relationship?
The call is coming from within the house.
She's the one calling herself. She's calling herself.
What are we doing?
The way she can see and assess in Angelica the toxicness, reflect it back to herself, but not do anything is crazy to me.
And still go, I've chosen to be in this situation that I knew about before.
Very aware of it, yeah.
A lot of the times you see a bad situation, you go, I would never be in that situation. And you actively avoid putting yourself into something similar.
I understand when people are in the situation, you really put blinders on, you always look for the good, but the fact that she can see the good and the bad, and it's like, and we will keep on rolling.
She's like, Kim, you and I are the same, and I still root for you. And Kim's like, no, I root for you. I don't root for your relationship. No. They're all crazy. All four of them.
Angelica and Kim are like, no, yeah, I see and clock you. We do have similar relationships, but I choose to be peppy about it. And I'm like, Angelica, no, that's not what should be happening. Like, you guys are doing the wrong things. It's not about you calling out or supporting the other one. Focus on your own toxic relationship, girlies.
It's the Spider-Man meme where they're just staring at, they just point at each other. It was crazy. Yes. Honestly, that was the most shocking thing said in this reunion.
Yes, because I was like, you get it.
Yeah. Lisa says, Kim, I wouldn't take your relationship advice. And I was like, but it's crazier that, like, at least Kim can maybe fall on, like, Marcus had just lost both his parents and he was going through shit. Angelica witnessed it all and was like, yeah, it's toxic. I'm going to do the same thing. And know it.
You're not supporting mine? Like, and I'm a cheerleader for yours?
Oh, my God.
No.
But then we find out Angelica and Shayne have a baby pact, which Natalie is like, what the fuck? Maybe this episode was shocking.
Natalie's like, how does that come up in your pillow talk? Like, again, why are we diving into this? Because where did this come from? I know they said it's not standing anymore because she's in a relationship, but that's not what these types of pacts are about. It's like, no matter what's happening,
if we're both single at this time. Yeah.
Like, just because you got into a relationship now doesn't mean the pact is off. The whole thing is that if we are both single at this age, we will do X, Y, Z.
Also, they just want to do it because they like each other's genetics.
And to be honest, it's not really the genetics, it's their looks. Because they're not talking like, oh, your family has high IQs, or, you know, like, you don't have any diseases that run in your family, so, like, that's a positive thing. No, it's the jawline, it's the eyes, it's the height.
Says jawlines, and I was like, sir, what about high cholesterol or cancer? So what do we need? Genetics?
Wait, he was like, and I have green eyes, and I was like, that's the marker?
Isn't that like eugenics? Isn't that different? Am I dumb? I might be dumb, but it sounds like we just want some beautiful white babies, and that's crazy.
This was weird. This was
it gave Sydney Sweeney a little bit. It gave Sydney Sweeney's, like, you know.
Listen, my blue jeans are green.
She has good jeans.
My blue jeans aren't blue; they're green.
She has good jeans. Okay, so then let's talk about Audrey's roast of mostly Angelica. It was stuff already discussed amongst the group that Audrey just repeated on a stage. Marcus says he did think it was funny, but he felt bad for Angelica in the moment. And then Venus is like, whatever, a roast is still a comedy special. And now they all just yell at each other. And then Venus basically says, look, Angelica's the type of person who can throw out jabs but can't take it. And Angelica 100%. Interrupts and says, she will embarrass a man who's trifling with her. Trifling's awesome.
Girly. Like, come on.
Venus says it's karma.
I do think what Audrey did is worse because it was on such a public stage than just, like, throwing out a few jabs. But it is very much true that Angelica can dish it and not take it.
Yep. 100%.
Like, all of that is happening at the same time. And so I still stand on Audrey, like, owes her an apology. Angelica, this should be a warning to you to stop with your little, like, snarky comments constantly and putting everybody else down. Because you aren't better than Audrey.
100%. Angelica says she doesn't ever go after women's looks. However, she did call Audrey ugly and Sid the Sloth, which I didn't hear Sid the Sloth because that is hilarious.
I will say she was using it as an example. Like, I could say this about you. If we're going to go low, these are the things I could do to you. But it reminds me of over on Real Housewives of New Jersey when one housewife tried to make, like, an analogy to Teresa. Oh. And it's like, when you say those things out loud, people do still hear it. Like, if you're just trying to, like, make a comparison here.
Ugly, for sure. You could be like, well, you're ugly, and, like, try and make the analogy. Sid the Sloth, though, is so specific, and that hit... That's not just that's crazy.
Here's the thing. Audrey's roast was funny, and that was funny from Angelica. Things can be mean and funny at the same time.
Yeah, but that wasn't an analogy. That wasn't like an analogy.
No,
you were sitting on that one. That was crazy. That was so wild.
And listen, like, I just think people need to be more honest about being mean. We're mean. Like, we think mean things. I store away mean comments all in my head all as well. Long. Angelica, clearly was sitting on that one.
I mean thinking Sid the Sloth was hilarious. Just say that's mean. That is so
just say
funny.
it and own it and be it. Do it. We're good.
That one really took me down.
It's that Angelica has to be the victim, so she can't be the offensive, like, mean. She always has to say she's mean because she's reacting to other people.
Yeah,
and it's
of
like,
course.
Girly, get a grip.
Which, Sid the Sloth is not a reaction. No. That's an atomic bomb, girl. That was crazy.
And it was great. It hit your mark.
Listen, that hit. But Audrey does apologize that she attacked Angelica's relationship because that was still fresh and that seems to have hurt Angelica the most. But Audrey is still pursuing stand-up comedy because she thinks she's hilarious, which, love that for you. I love that.
She is hilarious. I do like Angelica saying, just tell people next time if you're going to roast them, because that was my big thing. 100%. You just got to tell people that they're about to just walk in.
Hey, girl. Yeah, I'm about to shoot you down.
Yeah.
Be ready, LOL. Yeah. Okay, so then we talk about Pride. Pride was Venus's way to say, well, this is what Lisa says, that Pride was Venus's way to say fuck you to everyone who doubted him. Andy really loves that Venus's dad watched all the old episodes of Vanderpump Rules to bond with Venus, which Venus says he hasn't even watched all the old episodes, which I was like, why are we on this show if we don't know the history? I'm sorry. I find that very important.
I don't think that they need to watch every episode. There were 11 seasons, and if you weren't a part of the viewing group prior to you being on this show, I do find it weird to go and watch everything, because to me, that makes it seem like you're going to try to mimic things or redo things. But you need to know. Yeah. You need to know your people. I think what they're just saying is, like, I'm sure Venus has watched some seasons, maybe the newer ones once he started working there. It's that, like, his dad was so committed to trying to have things to bond over, and Venus is like, this isn't even my thing. I just work at the restaurant.
That's so cute, though. Venus's dad is my favorite. And we also learned that Venus's birth name is Clint. Just an important thing to note. Doesn't matter, but
it kind of tracks from him being from Texas.
He does not look like a Clint.
No. So, how do you feel about the name thing? Because when we previewed the cast for our Patreon, you were very upset that his name is Venus.
Because it's the goddess of women.
Yeah.
He said he was just swimming in a pool, which I get, because isn't Venus like the goddess in water or something? Yeah. She's like a mermaid.
There's that picture with her like in that.
Yeah. In the shell, right?
In the shell with the pearl, yeah.
Yeah. I still don't love the name, to be honest. But I'm not going to say, like, but I feel better. It's just, I still don't like the name. There's just no.
It's interesting that he chose it, you know?
Yeah. There's just, like, I just don't. You're
not for or against it. You're just whatever.
Yeah, and when we first talked, like I said, I was like, it's just weird. I wouldn't say it, like, brought me anger, but I was just questioning it, and I will still, like, kind of question it.
Yeah. The meaning of the name.
Listen,
and that. It does
it's better than
Clint.
So
yeah.
I get it. I would pick any name too. At that point, I get it. We talk about how Audrey is queer. She fell in love with a girl at 14 and they dated for 4 years. And Audrey learned a lot from him because he transitioned into a man. LGBTQIA plus, baby. They're all over the map.
It's so fascinating that she said that, like, they also broke up so then her partner could transition and, like, and experience that without, like, having, obviously, the needs of a relationship, and that they are, like, best friends still. I find that so fascinating and beautiful.
It's very cute. Okay, Marcus and Kim, they're not on birth control. There have been no pregnancy scares, even though Marcus wishes. But are they ready is the question, to which Kim says, is anyone really ready? And Andy's like,
Kim.
Well, you could be like financially stable, you could be emotionally stable, you could have good living conditions. Like there's some people are more ready than others, for sure.
When people say I wasn't ready to have a kid, they didn't mean I wasn't ready in all capacities and I just threw one in here. Like I prepared as much as I could and you can never be prepared enough is what they're saying.
And sometimes people do not plan on having a child and then have one. And they are not prepared. They are not ready, but they maybe were just not that, I don't want to say smart to like,
they made some mistakes.
They made some mistakes though.
And that can be very detrimental to a child when you are not actively preparing for them. Like you have a chance to bring them into a wonderful life and like you can do everything that you possibly can, but also there's a large risk of you messing up that child and that is not okay.
Yeah. So Venus says maybe wait like 5 years. And Marcus is like, I can't. I'll be 40. And I was like, and you don't have a bed frame at 40?
Well, okay, he's not 40 right now. He's clearly like 35. Oh my God,
at 35, you can't have a bed frame?
I thought the same thing as I was like, that's how you're living your life?
Everyone's thinking like maybe go 1 year without breaking up and then they can think about a child. Maybe get the cigarettes out of the bathroom. But Marcus isn't pulling out, so...
why do we need to clarify that? Like, of all things, we don't need to. Did you notice that Lisa then was like, Andy, what do you do? And he was like, this isn't a concern for me. I'm gay.
What the fuck is Lisa talking about? Does she think Andy's children, like, how does she think they got here?
Like, for a woman who supports the LGBTQIA plus community and, like...
Wasn't she at his baby shower? Was she concerned that, like,
confused her, I guess.
Pregnant woman wasn't there?
One thing that I know for fact, even though I'm not a gay man, is that you're not going to get another gay man pregnant.
You know, you would think, Lisa, you would think we'd know this.
Whether you pull out or don't.
Hello? Like, I was like, what are we talking about? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now let's talk about Jason and Chris's OnlyFans and their potential incest. So Angelica only read the caption. Demi said she watched 45 seconds of it and she did call it incest. She saw the cousins and another guy fully naked massaging each other in the shower. And then Andy's like, but is massaging incest? And Demi's like, it was weird, which I'm with her. Weird family dynamics.
Yes.
I'm
but
with
also,
Demi. I would call it incest.
Every person who has commented on this is giving kind of different vibes still, so I don't feel like it's settled to me what the fuck was going on in this video.
Agreed. Then they're also like, why is Angelica mad about this? Because remember when Shayne's cousin's girlfriend taught Shayne how to finger a girl?
No, make her squirt.
Make her squirt. Sorry. It was so stupid. So, was Angelica trying to embarrass Jason? She says she was trying to get the point across that incest makes her uncomfortable. And I said, incest should make everyone uncomfortable.
Girl, that wasn't an unpopular opinion. That wasn't a hot take.
You don't have to push that agenda. We're all aligned.
Yes.
But it is confirmed that the cousins do not touch each other's dicks. Andy, though, would like to see this video to confirm. Because then he says, on a scale of nothing to White Lotus, what is it? And if you haven't seen White Lotus, there's one brother who gives another brother a handy, which was terrible to deal with.
I'm glad Andy and I have the same thermometer. Where are we at on this? Give us a scale. Somebody say it, but we don't get it answered still.
They said they were massaging shoulders. It was not a sexual act. So we didn't go into it
in their regard or the intent, but other people find it hot. So I do still think this is weird to be doing OF content with your cousin.
It's weird family dynamics. So Audrey says she never watched it. Chris recommends everyone go watch it.
I love him promoting his shit.
And Natalie and Andy are going to split a subscription to go watch it. Because Andy can't afford it otherwise.
I would pay to watch them watch it. Like,
Same.
I don't want to see it on the screen, but I want to see their full reactions.
I would love Andy's reaction of it, because you know
Same.
he'd try to zoom in. Natalie might be a little like, oh my God, but Andy would just keep zooming until he found what he needed.
Obsessed. But this is a major HR violation.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Andy can watch it.
No.
Okay, so how far do they go on their OF? And Chris says he's only filmed one scene with a woman who was a porn star that then he didn't want to date because she is a porn star, which may seem weird to some people, but that was the boundary he had, which fine. Who am I to fucking question him at this point?
But he said he filmed a scene, so, like, are they having sex? Like, what are they doing? Because to me, I don't really care what the genders are or, like, how many people are in the scene. To me, it's about the
Is your cousin there?
That are happening with potentially the other people.
So Chris and Jason do confirm they do not do risque things, but they do compare each other's juicy asses.
This is so heated rivalry coded.
It's so funny. But in heated rivalry, they're not cousins.
You're right.
Okay, so finally we get to final thoughts. My God. Okay. Venus has grown a lot through the show. He's really happy to be making solid male friendships with people who aren't Marcus. Chris sees him and Lisa Vanderpump maybe getting married in the future. Haha, JK. But he does want to be a husband and have a family one day. Angelica hopes to have a female-centric group that's here to embarrass the men. Which I was like, what a weird one.
She says it, I feel like, in a cliche way of like, oh, other people in the world say like girls should stick together, so I'm gonna say girls should stick together, but she doesn't live her life in the way that says I want a female-centric group that like writes for each other and like doesn't center men, because she doesn't live those actions. Yeah, she's really living as, you know what's really popular are man haters, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So, yeah. Audrey says, maybe stop posting on social media about me, and I will be your friend. That's a good first step. Has Jason learned the menu? No, but he does really like the crab cakes that come in cake form. Demi says being the manager is fucking torture. Yeah. But Venus is always really respectful. Kim wants to get her shine back. She wants to start acting and singing again. She feels like she really lost herself in Marcus and their relationship, especially because Marcus really needed her when he lost his parents. But she also apologizes to her friends who saw her through this really bad place. And Marcus is shipping Natalie and Shayne. And then Lisa sees growth, or she wants to see growth. And the boys can just keep being naughty. That's what she says, which was a yuck, girl. That was such a yuck. You know, your audience is mainly female, right? Like, and liberal female. Away from this, even during the OG, we were calling this bullshit out. Yeah, like there are, I would be surprised. I mean, it's mostly female from right there, but I would say 65% of this audience is left-leaning, and we do not want naughty boys on our show to get away with murder. No. Terrible. So then we toast with pumptinis, and our good friend Davis is there. Dog, what are you doing Davis here? Yeah. Oh, lovely. Wait, that was so funny, him popping in. I literally went, oh, what are you doing here? No, he's lovely. He's really made a name for himself. And I like to think that we were part of that. I called you and I was like, yeah, I found the star. Yes. I love that man. I'm glad, like, because we interviewed him kind of at the start of the season. I'm glad we encouraged him to, like, go to SUR and, like, keep up with the cast, watch the show. I am too. It seems like he's at SUR every once in a while. Like, they were all excited to see him. Natalie was like, oh, hey! I love that. Like, it's always nice when you can have community and fun bonds and things like that. So overall, what'd you think? Because this is kind of a one-season wonder, even though it's not, but we could do our thing where, do you think it deserves a second season? And do you see why or why not? I see why Bravo is going to keep, like, investing in this franchise. It's a big moneymaker for them. It's long-standing. Like, I understand why this will potentially get a 13th season. I think this cast has a lot of room to be able to be successful. It depends on them, how it's produced, things like that. And I think they need to start courting the audience a little bit more, because people had an initial gut reaction of like, F you. And so how do you kind of like get that audience back? Very fair. So do you think we'll be back for season 13? I think the show will be back for season 13. You and I will discuss if we will be back for season 13. Considering this cast hates us. I strong-armed you into this, and so, like, I do want it to be more of a mutual decision.
I got strong-armed, and look how that ended. No, I'm just kidding. I thought it was funnier that the cast now hates us.
I'm not gonna decide based on their dislike of me or not. It's like, do we want to continue doing this because we don't enjoy it type of mentality.
I think this show would have, for me, been more enjoyable if we binged it.
I agree.
I think that...
Well, this might... I don't want to comment on what my thoughts are around this, but I just want to report this news to you in case you haven't seen it. That
I haven't.
Demi posted an Instagram story about 4 friends convincing her to do a show, and it was, like, pretty long. I forget exactly everything it said, but 4 friends convincing a show and, like, how, like, she's not in a great space with them. And then Natalie, Venus, Marcus, and Kim were on a trip at that time. So it seems like there's some beef brewing between that foursome and Demi. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to comment on it further, but that's the tea.
I did not see that tea. Okay, well, I guess from there we will maybe be back. But it was a season. And if anything, we have a new screenplay to write.
You're right. We're going to be booked and busy.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, but thank you if you stuck with us, for tuning in. Honestly, I would love to hear from people who maybe listen to our podcast if they think we should do another season. Maybe a lot of people didn't watch that show or this show, and that's fine, and they rely on us, which then I'd be more inclined to do another season of this. But yeah, in the meantime, check us out on Patreon. Do all the things I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, but we will continue on with Patreon. We have Summer House going right now, and we will be back with our normal also episodes. So stick around.
We have a few seasons of old Vanderpump to do. So
we do.
If you miss that, we will be there.
We'll be back. And with that, love ya.
Thanks for joining. Bye.